Hello friends, welcome to my channel. In this video we will look at some of the string related functions which are quite useful and are commonly asked in the interviews. Alright, let's get started. Okay, we will start with the simpler function which is concat. So we have our employee table here, and what we are trying to do is we are adding some of the column information along with additional information. Uh, But what we are trying to come up with here is creating another column which would work as a comment. So what I'm trying to do here is that I'm selecting all the columns and then I'm creating another column, uh, and I'm using concat as a function here, which is essentially adding the information of different columns, concatenation. So the first name, then I'm adding a space here so that we have space between first name and last name. And then I'm adding additional information like any comments, anything. It's just a simple text. And then salary information. So what I'm looking for is employee first name, last name, earns uh, XYZ salary per annum. And I'm calling it as another column as comment. So let's run this and let's see. So here we see, uh, let's look at the first row. We are seeing James Smith earns $5,000 per annum. Now here you see there is no space between 5,000 and per. It's because we haven't given any space here. So if I do it again, uh, yeah, it's get corrected. Let's look at another one. So now in this, what I'm trying to do is I'm again adding, but I'm using substring as an additional function here. What I want is I want first four letters of an employee and an underscore and then the employee ID to make another new ID, so that I can use that as a primary function in case if my employee ID is not a primary key. That's an assumption. So I want to create a primary key assuming an employee's first four letters and employee ID is a unique combination, right? So if we were to do that, uh, so so let's run this and I'm calling it as a new ID as new column. So let's run this. So here, let's look at this. So we have James. So the first four letter of James is JAME, underscore, and then the employee ID of James is 1. Similarly for Michelle, it's MICH underscore 2. So that's a new ID which we can create. This is generally being used to create a unique ID with the combination of two or three or more columns. And in some cases, we don't want to take the entire column information because that's personal information which we do not want to use in another table. So we want to use half of that information or 1/4 of that information. Okay, now let's look at another function. So here I'm trying to use the replace as a function. uh, so what I'm doing is I'm updating the employee table here and I'm setting it for employee's first name. And the way I'm using replace function is I'm replacing details from the column name employee's first name, and wherever I see Robert, so the Robert is here, I am trying to change his name from Robert to Roar, right? So so that's the statement, and let's run this. uh, it's been updated. Now let's run it again, and now we see Robert Smith has become Roar. Okay, let's look at the next one. So in this case, I want to check if an employee's name is a palindrome. What palindrome is where the name in if we reverse the order, it is still remaining the same. So we want to check where the details of the employees where names in any reverse order or the forward order are same. This could be a query which could be asked to reverse the string. Um, so so before I do that, so in this table, if we see ROR, which is row, is that. But before I do that, maybe let's look at another function which is lower and upper, because we will have to convert this string into a lowercase. So what lower or upper does is that it changes the case of a string. So for example, if I run this employee's first name, it is as of now is first letter is in uppercase and the rest of those are lowercase. So if I use the upper, it will change it to uppercase, and the lower will change it to the lowercase, right? So, and similar to this, reverse function would essentially reverse the order of the string. So in this case, what we want to check the details of the employees whose names are palindrome. So in our case, row is the name. So if I run this query, it will give me the row, and it is giving the exact name as it is. But since I'm checking it after lowering the employee's first name here and here, uh, you know, that's why we are able to compare it. All right. Okay, let's look at another function. We are looking at function called as ASCII here. What ASCII does is if we look at any character, it will give us the binary value of it. So the value of A is 65. Now let's do it AB and guess what the value will be. Let's try it again. The value again comes out to be 65. Let's see at C or anything. The value will still remain 65. It is because the function takes the first letter of any string. So now if we change it to B, and now if we run it, the value will change to 66 instead of 65. So the function essentially uses the first letter. So if I want to know whether the first letter of any name is lower or higher, uh, that's what we can check here. So if the question is give me the employee's name whose first letter is small. So in this case, there is none. So let's create another query. Let's replace James' name to small j's. So let's run it. Says updated. Let's execute it once again. Now we see the James start with a smaller letter. So now if I run this query, says select star from employee, where ASCII value of employee's name is less than 65. Here we will learn one more thing, that if you look at the value of Z, ASCII value of Z, it is 90. So the capital ABCD starts from 65 to 90, and if I make it a small a, its value is 97, and it's because there are some more characters which are in between capital Z and A, which has that value between 90 and 97. So if I want the details of the employees uh, whose first name start with a smaller character, we will run this query and we'll get James Smith and James, because there are two James and got updated, right? So we have two such records, and if I do it less than, we'll have all the other 8 records which are there in the table. There is one more quick function we can look at, which is uh, trim. So if I run this statement here, it gives me the name Rajesh, what we have mentioned here, but if you can see, there are a lot of space which are being added, and sometimes when we load any file, there are a lot of characters unwanted which are there. So what we can do is we can use trim function, and now if I run this query once again, it will give me the name Rajesh with removing all the unwanted characters. All right. So these are the queries. So these were some of the string function which we generally use, and some of the time we have been asked these questions during the interviews. Hope you would have liked the videos. You would have learned something new today. If you like the video, please click the like button and please subscribe my channel for future videos. Thank you. Thanks for watching.